Hello again, fine people of the intertubes. This is SC2 Noob School, and of course, I am Trebus, and today we're going to be looking at a Zerg vs. Zerg. This game was taken from the recent IEM in New York. We had actually an interesting scenario this past weekend. We had IEM and MLG going on at the same time, so the talent was kind of split across different events. And I want to watch some DongRaeGu, so this is what we're going to be watching. On the right of Dual Sight, we have as the Red Zerg Complexity MVPs DongRaeGu, and on the left we have as the Mustard Yellow Zerg Dignitas Killer. So ZVZ, an interesting matchup, very scouting based. Very volatile matchup in the early game as well, but it's really been figured out by these pro players quite well. What we're going to see from DongRaeGu is going to be actually, I skimmed over this game before doing this cast, and what's interesting about the early game is DongRaeGu actually takes an expansion completely blind, and he doesn't actually do any scouting until his first Overlord makes it to the natural expansion of his opponent. So that just kind of shows you if you can make risks like this in the early game and even get away with not sending out a drone scout just by sending out this first Overlord. Now things like a very early pool will be extremely tough to deal with if you're going for an expansion first, but with some really excellent drone micro you still can hold that off, probably losing your expansion though, or almost definitely losing your expansion. So we got the spawning pool and gas going up for DongRaeGu. Meanwhile in Killer's base he's had his pool going up for a while, going ahead and mining that 100 gas, and he is definitely going to be getting Zergling speed as quickly as he can. And just notice now how neither player sent out a drone scout. This is pretty acceptable in a Zerg vs. Zerg. Just sending out that Overlord to see what's going on. Just that instant you see Killer saw that there is a hatchery up for DongRaeGu, and at a similar time DongRaeGu seeing that there is no hatchery up for Killer. So Killer in response to this, throwing up a Baneling nest. Looks like he's going to be going for some one base Baneling aggression. And I'd say this is a pretty typical response to something. You know, if it's a mirror matchup and you see the other guy expanded before you, you kind of have to do something to get back in the game, because you're going to be behind on drones if you just decide to expand out of that, and it's just not going to work real well. So in response to this, DongRaeGu actually saw these 4 Zerglings coming up, so he's assuming it's going to be a Baneling attack, so he's throwing up his defensive Baneling nest as well. He's getting much later speed, but the Baneling nest timings are going to be similar, also throwing up a Spine Crawler, and if you can get some nice targeting on the Banelings with the Spine Crawler, that can really diminish the amount of damage that can happen. 12 Zerglings coming out for Killer. As soon as these rally up, he's going to try to push in here and do some damage. Notice DongRaeGu has not transferred any drones to the natural expansion. The entire purpose right now is to just keep this expansion alive. Planting a Queen on the ramp with the defensive Baneling, so no runs-bys can come in. Trying to come in and snipe the Queen. He is going to get the first Queen. Nice little pick off by Killer right there. And now he's just got a handful of Lings versus a handful of Lings and a couple Banelings of DongRaeGu. The Banelings of DongRaeGu, oh man, coming in, possibly getting an opportunity on the other Banelings. I mean, this is just such a frantic micro war of trying to keep your Banelings alive and maximize their damage, not let them get picked off by individual Zerglings. Notice Killer splitting up his Banelings to make them that much more effective and trying to poke away at this hatchery as much as he can. Ooh. One Baneling going down there, and DongRaeGu, decent number of Zerglings. He's actually sending his Zerglings away, so he's going to stay defensive with only the Banelings and then go offensive with the rest of the Zerglings. Very interesting. Oh, Killer making a bit of a mistake, suiciding a Baneling right into that hatchery. And with the defensive Banelings of DongRaeGu, it looks like he's going to be able to defend this. Plus with his reinforcements, he's running in with his own Zerglings now, getting a surround, trading another queen, and he's going to run in here and try to get some drone kills. One drone is going down. Oh, there's going to be several drone kills here, although the drones are getting a nice surround on all the Zerglings. And back in DongRaeGu's base, not a whole lot going on. There's a few more Zerglings left. Ooh, gonna try to hide some Banelings, but they are spotted by Killer. One DongRaeGu Baneling coming in, but one Baneling. Sadly, not enough to actually get any drone kills. And there you just saw the Roach coming out for Killer. However, DongRaeGu has had his Roach Warren coming out for a while, so he's gonna stay defensive on Roaches for a little bit. Poking him with some Zergling, he's needing to see whether Killer is droning up. You see just poking in there a little bit, seeing no drones. That is the signal DongRaeGu needs to let him know that he needs to keep building units. You see he's got a stockpile of several hundred minerals, and most of that is going to go towards Roaches in a second here. Oh, the Banelings might get picked off by the Roaches, but they are able to get away. Killer's going to try to take out some of these Banelings. Oh, nice micro by DongRaeGu, saving those Banelings. Very important to keep every Baneling alive. If you're ever trading one Baneling for one Zergling, you are on your way to losing the game. Oh, losing the game. I just lost the game. Dang it. I hate when I do that to myself. So, oh, Baneling trying to come in from Killer. Able to do a little bit of damage, but you know, one Baneling just not enough. Trying to send in some Zerglings here to pick off the hurt drones. DongRaeGu is totally on top of that though, not going to let that happen. And DongRaeGu now with a very nice Roach force, his drone count, his drone advantage that he had earlier, he's at 37 to 27 drones. He's had that drone advantage for a while, so now this Roach attack is actually going to be quite brutal for Killer to deal with. Back at his base, what does he have? Like 7 Roaches compared to the 12 from DongRaeGu, and as well a large Zergling advantage. So this is going to be a difficult attack. Roaches coming in, getting a nice surround. Banelings getting some decent detonates on the Roaches, going to soften those up a little bit. Pulling drones actually to help defend this. I don't know if pulling the drones is completely necessary. Going to be some reinforcements coming out for Killer. He's got 4 Roaches left to the 5 Roaches of DongRaeGu. Plus this Queen, he can... Oh! DongRaeGu able to snipe the Queen. That's going to hurt his reinforcements quite a bit, but it looks like Killer's going to be able to reinforce and deal with this attack. Meanwhile, back in the base, of course Killer was having to make nothing but units there for a second. Now that he's held it off, switching back to drones. Meanwhile, DongRaeGu was really at a drone amount where he doesn't need to make any more drones for these 2 bases anymore. Getting his lair and throwing up a spire. The spire is going to be brutal for Killer to deal with because Killer is making nothing but drones right now. He realizes he's behind in the drone count, and he's going to have to get at least even up with DongRaeGu, because it's one of the things in Zerg vs. Zerg is when it's at... Once you get past kind of the Baneling stage at the beginning, and once Roaches are out for both players and Roaches kind of take over the matchup a little bit, it's really hard to get... most battles come out basically even. And by even I'm meaning micro is not going to make a gigantic difference. It's not like in, let's say, Terran vs. Terran, or even Protoss vs. Protoss, where in TVT, if you've got tank lines versus tanks and marines, if you have a really good engagement, you can come out way, way, way ahead of your opponent. And same with PvP. If you've got really great force fields and your opponent just completely messes up his engagement, you can get a gigantic victory from that. But Zerg vs. Zerg, a lot of the battles just kind of come out the way the AI is going to allow them to come out. You can see Killer is droned up, but he's still behind DongRaeGu. Coming in, trying to get a few, DongRaeGu getting a few drone kills here. Not a whole lot, mostly just getting the scout of the base. He's seeing that there's at least a lair, but no other tech besides that. And DongRaeGu about to have some mutas hatch. The mutas are out, and this is going to be disastrous for Killer. He's coming in here with a nice roach force. He's got a significant roach advantage. He's got 27 roaches to the 7 roaches of DongRaeGu. DongRaeGu just throwing up spine crawlers in almost a panic. These Mutalisks are going to do well against the roaches, obviously, because they can't hit them, but they're not going to kill the roaches very fast. Killer's roaches are just absolutely smashing through DongRaeGu, able to take down at least a few of these spine crawlers, and it looks like he's just going to run up the ramp, see what he can do inside of the main base. He could snipe some tech, he could try to target some drones. He's able to target a few drones, but the reinforcements of DongRaeGu are coming up. The Mutalisks are going to be able to clear out the rest of these roaches. There's no time to snipe any tech. There's no drones to kill. Can't even get a queen. Oh, this was a terrible loss by Killer. Man, there was just very little he could do there. As soon as he saw that the Mutalisks were out, there was almost nothing he can do. What's he doing at home to prepare? Getting out extra queens, throwing out spore crawlers, trying to get a Hydralisk den as quickly as he can, but these Mutalisks are on their way, sniping overlords. Meanwhile, DongRaeGu with this incredible map control from each of the Mutalisks, just taking gold base, totally saturated immediately. And I mean, what can Killer do from here? He's got not nearly enough queens. The queens don't have enough energy for transfuses. Oh, these Mutalisks just barely taking any damage whatsoever. The Spore Crawler trying to root, but there is no way it's going to get more than a few shots off. Gets 2 shots off, able to take out 1 Mutalisk, but that is it. The drone line is getting absolutely wrecked, and meanwhile a giant roach force from DongRaeGu's macro advantages he's been building up all game is coming in. The tiny roach force of Killer not going to be able to do anything. He's got a third base that he's basically hopeless to actually try to make any units out of it. And here come the DongRaeGu roaches, and they're going to absolutely smash through everything. 4 Hydralisks for Killer, trying to target down some Mutalisks, but it's just not going to be enough. The Mutalisks reigning supreme in the air, and there's the GG from Killer. Wow, that was a nice ZVZ. It shows you the power of a quick Mutalisk transition. Yeah, nicely done. Scouting is so important in ZVZ. All those times that you see Zerglings running in and checking to see the drone counts, those absolutely inform every decision that you are making, and DongRaeGu is making perfect decisions during that game. Anyways, thank you for watching. GG.